Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Pocho podcast. This is a special edition, sort of a reactionary podcast to some discussion I've been having with my fellow compas at the cantina. Just want to get this out of the way. Hopefully, be the last time I discuss this MLS, LigaMX, Mexican versus US rivalry or triggering of Mexicans leaving Mexico to go to MLS to go to the rival league. Right now, Leon is playing LAFC and is up 1-0. But let's go ahead and get into this. I recently interviewed Walter Franco. Great guy, good information, great podcast, the previous podcast to this one. And it was a good discussion. I wanted to have that interview as an expression of Walter, of the guest, to get out what their knowledge and takes and information experience, and sort of have a format of a podcast to where, yes, I am interviewing, asking questions, and he is able to respond, and I'm not interjecting with disagreements. Although I did a little bit, I'm not interjecting with my whole take and my whole argument and my point of view. I do give a little bit of that, but I don't go all in. It's more of a let's hear what you have to say, let's hear what your opinion and take is, what your evidence is, what your facts and statements are. And that was a good, it was a pretty good interview. So check that out. Just an explanation uh, of of that episode of the podcast. Now let's go back into the MLS talk. Now I've already expressed this in previous episodes of the podcast and previous tweets and whatnot, but I still believe MLS to be a retirement league. Chicharito said as much. He tried not to say as much, but he pretty much proved the point by saying and defending. And this is the same thing that all these players are doing, that Pulido is doing, that Pizarro is doing, that uh, they're justifying, they're trying to defend and make themselves feel better by saying that MLS is growing, that many players are going there, that Mati is saying good things about it, that Tata is saying good things about it, that it's good because Chicharito is there, that Vela is there, so it's not a retirement league. All these players are there, and then we're seeing Piti Martinez, we're seeing Diego Rossi, we're seeing all these stars there. Wow, it's really a great league. But compare these stars to Europe. Compare these stars to Europe. Pizarro. The fact is this: Pizarro, Pulido, Chicharito, Vela is the exception. All these players cannot make it in Europe. They're not good enough for Europe. So they're settling for MLS. Now let's give MLS props. They are doing a good marketing job. They are finally figuring out what some has been doing, which on the national team side have been price gouging, have been attracting the Mexican fan base because Mexicans Mexico, miss Mexican culture. The national team is there. It's like they're back home. They have left Mexico. They're in the United States. They're around English. They're around gringos. They're around hamburgers and hot dogs. If all of a sudden the Mexican national team is playing in their city, they are hyped. They they are like they're back home in Mexico. And so of course they're going to pay lots of money for tickets, maybe even hundreds of dollars for tickets to go watch the Mexican national team. And when they go there, they're going to see signs of Chicharito, like posters, advertising of Chicharito, of the starters, of Ochoa. And what if the call up isn't for the starters, for the European players? What if it's a Liga MX base, Molero? They don't care, dudes. They're still going to go and watch the Mexican national team because they are Mexican. They are Mexican culture starved. And some realizes this and they're just taking advantage of it, taking advantage of the Mexican, taking their hard-earned dollars and taking it to the bank. MLS is finally catching up to that model. MLS is bringing in the Mexican players that will finally go to MLS, like Chicharito, like Vela, and they are banking on it. Marketing, Vela or Chicharito already said it with his coach. Marketing is the reason why Chicharito is there, to sell tickets, to sell T-shirts, also to win championships. Who says no? Who says Pizarro isn't there to sell championships? Yes, he is. But this is a business. MLS is a business. They are not going to make money off of gringos, off of Americans, because the U.S. is not a soccer country. Americans are not going to play soccer. A tweet today: you go and change the channel or ask to change the channel in Buffalo Wild Wings to soccer. People are going to complain. People are going to say, who changed this channel to this soccer? Who wants to watch this garbage? We want to watch NBA, NFL. No one wants to watch soccer. Now, if Buffalo Wild Wings is full of Mexicans, then sure, everyone's going to approve. They're going to want to watch some soccer. They're going to want to watch some Champions League. They're going to want to watch some LigaMX. MLS is catching up, and props to them. They are going to bank off these Mexicans. So, MLS very well could. I have no problem. Well, I do have a problem, but I have no, I'm not going to go cry at home. I'm not going to go cry at night if MLS ends up beating LigaMX. LAFC is still down in the 81st minute. If LAFC comes back and beats Leon at home, that's the way it goes. Leon, messed up bad. They're going to have a tough time in the second leg. That's the way it is. I'm not going to cry. If LigaMX starts losing to MLS, Conca Champions after Conca Champions after Conca Champions, then that's the way it goes. You guys, did something wrong. Your higher-ups did something, inefficient to let MLS take over. MLS has taken over all these players. Pizarro, Pulido, scooping them up. What are you doing about it, LigaMX? What are you doing? You could talk about quality of life. You could talk about paying your players on time, paying your players at all. You're an embarrassment, LigaMX. Fix your stuff. Enrique Bonilla, in the recent LAFC panel that they had with Herc, Ciro Procuna, Rodolfo Landeros, and Max Bretos. A good panel. They were talking about Bonilla. Rodolfo, I think, mentioned Bonilla is competitive. When he sees LigaMX play MLS, he wants LigaMX to wipe the floor with him, they said. So what are you doing about it, Enrique Bonilla? What are you doing to improve? If you're banking off of these games, if you're getting the money that MLS is getting as well from, these Conca Champions game or these Liga MX All-Star versus MLS All-Star, you better bank and you better invest that back into the league and make this league a proper league again. Start catching up to MLS and all these other aspects. You've been winning. Liga MX has been winning in the on the pitch for a long time, but now they're starting to lose in marketing. They're starting to lose in the United States fan base. And Walter mentioned in 5 years, people are saying that Liga MX is going to be irrelevant. Is going to be irrelevant in the United States. The only people that are going to watch Liga MX are going to be in Mexico. What does that mean? Everyone in the United States is going to be watching MLS. Everyone who's a soccer fan, MLS. The numbers that Caesar and Soccer World or Soccer Marketing or whatever that the website is that publishes the viewership for soccer in the United States, where Liga MX has always been the top, then EPL, then way down below MLS teams, MLS games. Liga MX is dominating right now because of the Mexican fan base that are here in the United States that still have a connection with Mexico, with their team like Cruz Azul or America or Chivas, that they want to watch Liga MX. That is the reason why Liga MX is dominant in the United States. That's going to go away in 5 years, in 10 years maybe. In 10 years for sure, in 5 years maybe, is what Walter is saying and what other people in the business are saying. Liga MX is going to be irrelevant in the United States. Now, how's that going to happen? The viewership numbers are going to swap. How is that going to happen? Are all these first generation or Mexicans that just crossed over and came to the United States, are they going to all of a sudden not want to watch Liga MX? Are they going to not want to watch, their Águilas de América? Are they going to all of a sudden become LAFC fans, Austin FC fans, Inter Miami fans? If they live in Kansas City, they're going to become uh, Pulido fans with Kansas City and New York FC and all these teams. I don't see that. I don't see that happening really. The only reason I see that happening is if no more Mexicans come to the United States. Brand new, fresh Mexicans still have the culture. Now, second generations, third generations Mexicans, they lose the culture. It takes hard work for you to keep that culture within your kids that are living here in the United States as Mexican parents. As Pocho parents to other Mexicans, you might be still a fan, like I am. You might be a fan of LigaMX. How are you going to teach your kids that? You're going to teach them that. You're going to teach them Spanish. You're going to pass that along. I'm going to talk a little bit more in the podcast later about experiences of rare happenings that brings Pochos back into the love of Mexican culture. And it takes a long time, and it's sometimes a rare occurrence. So these viewership numbers, I don't see changing unless first generation Mexicans or Mexicans that just came to the United States all of a sudden are no longer existing. So we will see how that happens. So this is all enjoyable for me. If you know me at all, I'm explaining this passionately, assertively, and I'll talk to anybody in person about this. MLS, to me, is a rival. Liga MX is my preferred because of my passion for everything Mexico. Now I live in the United States. That makes, that makes a difference. I don't live in Mexico to know all the ins and outs. Like many of the other Liga MX English community do not live in Mexico to know the ins and outs of the Mexican league and of what goes on. We've left that country, we've left that train. So to be a fan of MLS is something that's going to be, natural, that's going to come along and be like, well, this is my country, so why not be a fan of MLS? Let me check this goal. Oh, no goal. So if MLS improves and MLS, starts beating Liga MX teams, then, that's going to be not ideal situation as a fan of Liga MX, but that's the way it is. Your life is going to go on. This is just a sport. And there's a goal, 2-0 for Leon. So Liga MX is still holding strong. But say MLS does improve. Say MLS takes all the South American talent, all the higher tier Liga MX talent, and all 11 starters for MLS sides are, pretty much taken from Liga MX. And they start spanking Liga MX left and right. Say that happens. That very well could happen. The United States is not like a place no one wants to stay. There isn't like vacation spots that, is very attractive, quality of life, getting paid in dollars. Sure, that's all great. That's awesome. So who's to say that MLS can't match up? Liga MX needs to do their part to improve things and be better. So this is my take. I'm hopefully, I'll just be done with it. I am glad to see LAFC fans travel to support their team to Mexico, in Mexico, against this Leon side. I am glad that they're out there chanting and, having a great old time. But you notice these LAFC fans over there, a lot of their chants, they're chanting in Spanish. Now, they speak perfect English, but a lot of their chants are in Spanish. They'll sing in Spanish. The culture is still there with these guys. That's why they love soccer. The culture is still there. Once the culture leaves, and LA is a unique place, once the culture leaves, after this generation, soccer's no longer in the picture for the majority. For the majority of Mexican Americans, next generation Mexican Americans, soccer is not in the picture. You got to ingrain that stuff. You got to work. You got to buy your kid all the jerseys, take him to all the games, and nearly force it upon him for him to be a fan of soccer and a fan, much less of the Mexican national team or the Mexican or Liga MX. So that's my take on this. Tomorrow I'm going to try to do these daily. Tomorrow I'm having another podcast of a specific experience of a Mexican American who fell in love with tacos. after hating Mexican food growing up, after hating all these things. Afro Sander, I think, posted the link to this, and we'll talk about that article tomorrow. Thank you very much for listening.